Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling a really interesting question. What does it actually take to set up a company in Germany?
Right.
We've got some detailed info here that really lays out the nuts and bolts. And when you look at the bigger picture, the European market,
Mm.
it's pretty compelling.
It really is. I mean, Germany's it's the engine of Europe, right? Largest there, third globally. That alone creates this huge pull for businesses.
Yeah, a $4.92 trillion economy. That's serious. It signals stability, opportunity.
Exactly. And it's not just Germany itself. Its
Okay.
location, right in the middle of things, gives you this launch pad into, 27 EU countries?
Over 450 million potential customers. That's a strategic edge you can't just ignore.
Absolutely. And the infrastructure supports it. The information we've got highlights the logistics.
Like transport.
Yeah, think about it. 36 international airports, something like 80 seaports.
Yep.
That kind of connectivity is, it's crucial for global operations, supply chains, exports.
And speaking of exports, Germany's a powerhouse there, isn't it? That whole made in Germany thing.
It still means something. Quality, precision, reliability. That culture could really benefit a new business setting up shop.
It's not just history either. That excellence in engineering, automotive, manufacturing, it's still driving things.
Definitely. Having giants like BMW, Porsche, Siemens, Bosch, VW, Mercedes, it creates this whole ecosystem, suppliers, skilled workers, R&D.
Okay, so Germany sounds good. But where in Germany? The info mentions some top cities for incorporation.
Yeah, let's see. Berlin, Frankfurt, Stuttgart, Munich, Dusseldorf, Hamburg.
A good list.
And they each have a slightly different feel, right? Frankfurt's the financial hub.
Mm.
Berlin's maybe more for startups, creative industries, so you'd want to think about where your specific business fits best.
Right, makes sense. Okay, so you've picked Germany, maybe even a city. What are the actual steps? Sounds like a defined process.
It is quite structured, actually. First step, choose a company name.
Simple enough.
Well, the advice here is to have at least 5 options ready. Your first pick might be taken.
Okay. Practical. What's next?
Preparing the Articles of Association. Think of it as the company's rulebook, its DNA. Outlines the purpose, structure, how it runs.
Got it. So the blueprint.
Yeah.
Then you make it official. Something about notarization.
Exactly. A public notary, a legal professional, has to certify those incorporation documents. It gives it that legal stamp.
Okay.
After that, you need to open a business account. Pretty essential for, handling the money.
Seems logical. And then getting on the official record.
Precisely. You register with the commercial register. That formally establishes the company's legal existence in Germany. It's a public record.
Transparency.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then, gotta deal with the taxes. Register with the local tax office.
And there are a few different numbers involved there, right? Tax stuff.
Yeah, a few key ones. You'll apply for the company's main tax number for general taxes. Then, if you're trading within the EU, you need an EU VAT number. And if you're importing or exporting outside the EU, you also need an EORI number.
Right.
Finally, register with the local trade office. That's more about the specific local operation.
And you need documents for all this, presumably.
Oh, yeah. The usual suspects: passport or ID copies, proof of address, proof you've deposited the initial capital, those articles of association we mentioned, your list of potential company names, and details on who the shareholders and directors are.
Now, this UG thing mentioned here, that sounds really interesting. What exactly is a German UG?
The UG Unternehmergesellschaft. People often call it the mini GmbH.
Mini GmbH.
Yeah, it's a type of limited liability company. But the standout feature, especially for startups, is the super low minimum share capital. Just €1.
€1.
Eh.
Seriously, that really lowers the barrier to entry compared to a standard GmbH.
Massively. It makes starting up much more accessible financially.
So, apart from the tiny capital, what are the other perks of starting as a UG?
Well, you still get that crucial limited liability protection. Your personal assets are separate from business debts. That's huge.
Definitely. Peace of mind.
And the setup is generally quicker, cheaper, less paperwork initially. Plus, importantly, even as a UG, you can get your EU VAT, ERI, and German tax numbers pretty fast, so you can actually start doing business.
And it's not like you're stuck as a UG forever. The info suggests it's kind of designed to grow into a GmbH later.
Exactly right. It's seen as a stepping stone. As the business grows and gets more profitable, you can convert it smoothly into a full GmbH. That scalability is a big plus.
That makes sense for startups that might not have huge funds at the start but expect to grow.
For sure. And there's another potential benefit mentioned. It can sometimes be a pathway towards getting an EU blue card for residency and work permits for the right people.
Okay, let's talk about that transition.
Yeah.
Your UG is doing well. You want to become a GmbH. How does that work?
Yeah.
Sounds fairly straightforward.
It is, thankfully. You don't need to dissolve the UG and start all over again. There's a built-in process.
How does it trigger?
So a UG has a legal requirement. It has to keep 25% of its annual profits aside.
Okay, like a savings plan.
Kind of. You build
Right.
up capital reserves until you hit $25,000. That's the minimum share capital needed for a GmbH.
Ah, I see. So you reinvest profits until you reach the GmbH threshold. Then what?
Once you've got that $25,000 in capital, the shareholders need to formally agree to convert. This happens in a meeting, and you need a signed resolution documenting the decision.
Right, make it official internally.
Then you update the Articles of Association to reflect the change to a GmbH structure. And just like setting up, these updated articles need to be notarized by a German notary.
Okay, notary again, and then the legal admin.
Correct. The notary handles submitting all the required documents to the local commercial court. Once they approve it, the conversion is officially registered in the commercial register.
So it's publicly recorded as a GmbH now.
Exactly. And the final step, of course, is just letting the tax office and the local trade office know about the change in status.
Okay, makes sense. Now let's shift slightly to this EU Blue Card. That sounds like a really valuable tool for skilled people from outside the EU, maybe entrepreneurs or employees coming to Germany. What's the big deal with it?
The EU Blue Card is basically a special residence and work permit. It's specifically for highly qualified non-EU citizens. And yeah, it offers some pretty significant advantages.
Like what? What makes it so attractive?
Well, for starters, if you hold a blue card, your spouse automatically gets permission to work in Germany. No extra hoops to jump through there.
That's a big plus for families.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Also, it offers a relatively fast track to permanent residency. You can apply after just 33 months.
Wow, less than 3 years.
And even quicker, down to 24 months. So 2 years if you can show you've got decent German language skills, B1 level specifically.
An incentive to learn the language.
And another perk, visa-free travel within the Schengen area for short trips, up to 90 days in any 180-day period.
That's incredibly useful for business or personal travel in Europe. So who actually gets this? What are the main criteria for the EU Blue Card in Germany?
The core requirements are, first, you need a higher education degree that's recognized in Germany. They need to see proof of your qualifications.
Makes sense. It's for highly qualified people.
Right. Second, you need a concrete job offer from a German company, and the job has to match your qualifications.
So you need the job lined up first.
Generally, yes. And third, there's a minimum salary threshold. It needs to be at least 1.5 times the national average salary. The figure we have here is 48,300 level per year currently.
Okay, so a decent salary level is required.
Yeah.
And how long does the card last?
It's typically issued for a maximum of 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
But if your job contract is shorter than that, the blue card will cover the length of your contract, plus an extra 3 months gives you a bit of buffer time.
And can you renew it?
Yes, it can be extended. And like we said, it's that pathway towards applying for permanent residency later on.
Right. So bringing this all together, for someone listening who's maybe thinking about Germany for their business, what are the main things to take away?
I think the core message is Germany offers this powerful mix. You've got the strong economy, the stability, plus that strategic location giving access to the whole EU market.
A very attractive combo.
Definitely. And then you have options like the UG, which makes getting started really flexible and affordable, especially for, newer businesses, without massive upfront capital.
With that clear path to becoming a full GmbH as you grow.
Exactly. And then for the talent aspect, the EU Blue Card is a really valuable route for skilled individuals from outside the EU to come, live, work, and maybe even start their own ventures in Germany.
Absolutely. It really does feel like Germany's put thought into creating a framework that supports business at different stages. So here's something for you, the listener, to chew on. Given Germany's industrial strength, that engineering prowess, combined with these adaptable company structures like the UG, how could that unique blend provide a springboard for your entrepreneurial ideas in Europe? What specific sector or niche within Germany's diverse economy do you think might be the most fertile ground for your vision? Something to ponder.
Good question.
That's all the time we have for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.